argument before, well, if you're so good at coaching, or if you're such a great player, why don't you go down there and coach, or why don't you go down there and make plays? Well, you know what? I'm actually going to take you up on that. In fact, not only am I going to do that, I'm going to talk to you about how Mike Riley can win a national championship at Nebraska. And honestly, when I thought about it, 5 ways to do it. 5 basic ways that Mike Riley can do it. Now, we're not going to go deep down in the nitty-gritty, what kind of pro style, who's going to be this and that, because right now there are still some unknowns as far as coordinators, and if you're watching this after the coordinators have been named, great. But we're going to look at this as the absolute must-haves, and if this stuff goes in place with a little bit of luck, Nebraska can win a national championship under Mike Riley. So, let's get started. The first thing is, well, by no coincidence, fundamentals. We're talking about form tackling, no shoestring stuff, no headed for the head, just nice form tackling through the body. We're talking about proper offensive lineman techniques, proper setup, move forward, not allowing yourself to get pushed back, proper technique. This absolute necessary stuff that wins ball games. Not just championships, but ball games. When you can go out there and perform at your best, this is what is ultimately going to be the difference between winning and losing. This is ultimately going to get you turnovers. This is ultimately what's going to prevent you from losing turnovers, is this knowledge that at the very core, this is what an offensive lineman does. This is what your running back does. This is a 3-step drop, a 7-step drop, a 5-step drop for your quarterback. The basic stuff, the stuff that eventually becomes muscle memory. It's so simple and it's so familiar to you guys that you don't even have to think. It's all right there. You could do it in your sleep. I could go into your dorm room, grab you out of your bed, drag you out at 4 a.m., say, run this play, and you could run it. It's all right there. Fundamentals. And this is something that is not preached enough. What do you do when stuff goes wrong? What do you do when your bread and butter, or at least what you claim, okay, this is us, this is our identity, and it falls through the cracks? Everything just goes, you know, and Nebraska fans have seen plenty of it. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do when the jet sweep is absolutely smacking you upside the head? Do you go back and try to, you know, mark up some X's and O's or whatnot? Or do you go back and see where you're taking the wrong angles, where you're out of space, that you're tackling so bad or you're going low or... No. Go back to basics. See where the building blocks of your team are cracked and fill those cracks up. So number 1, fundamentals. Number 2, development from the pocket in. You need to know that going into spring, you're starting with these lumps of clay, and even when you're a brand new coach, it's clean slate, right? Absolutely. You need to know that moving into fall, moving into kickoff, number 1, and moving into the end of the season also, that you're seeing progression, that your quarterback, if he's locking on to his first guy, that he eventually goes second, third, dumps off to the running back. You need to see your offensive lineman not always necessarily looking to the center. Obviously, the center's got to be a bright boy. He's got to be looking around. He's got to be making his calls. But maybe the offensive tackle, maybe he sees something and picks up on it on his own. These guys, these are up front. These guys make or break plays. They have to be productive. Wide receivers have to be able to run their routes, have to be able to avoid interceptions, obviously, have to be able to block properly. If a program does not continue to progress, which is something that unfortunately did not happen under the Bo Pelini era, check back in 2012, 2013, 2014, you're going to see the same problems in spring that you do in December and maybe January, depending on if you're playing the Capital One Bowl or whatnot, or whatever it is being called at this point in time. You never know. Sponsorships change. Anyway, as long as you have the opportunity to grow, you go through your Southern Miss, your South Alabama, You go up against your big boys, your Oregons, your Tennessees, whomever else you may have to beef up the out-of-conference schedule. And then you move into the Big Ten. Then you move and play Michigan State, Ohio State, Minnesota now all of a sudden, Wisconsin, etc. You need to see that progression, and if you can't progress, you cannot get to the playoff. You will not get to the playoff. You can't. You just absolutely will not win championships. So, number 2, progression from the pocket. And number 3, head over to the defense. Triple F, don't worry, this is safe for work. Focus, fierceness, and fun. We've seen a little bit of that in Nebraska. We've watched that a little bit, but we've also seen a lack of fierceness, a lack of fun, and a lack of focus. We've seen poor angles taken, we've seen poor tackling, and we've seen guys who just don't seem to be interested. Now, what's necessary to win a championship? You need a defensive... here's what you need. You need defensive linemen that are ready to eat up quarterbacks, ready to eat up running backs, and that know how to get past it. Look at these offensive linemen and say, what are you doing here? I'm terribly sorry. I just have to get by you, and you're kind of in my way, man. Be able to do that and be able to have fun doing it. The defense coordinator says, boys, it's time to go eat. And not only that, but the linebackers. Oh, those linebackers. You gotta love them. They're fun, aren't they? Be able to say to the linebackers, guys, I want them down. I want you to check out that ball carrier wherever that ball goes. You take it from them. Don't just knock them down. Take it. Do everything you can. And those cornerbacks and those safeties, if anything goes on, make sure, guys, you lock on to eyes and you absolutely go nuts. Not only do you lock down, but this is where the fun comes into it. You bring in your cornerbacks on blitzes and you attack. There's nothing I love more than a good blitz. I love the 3-4 defense because you got linebackers all over the place, and linebackers, more often than not, are just a little bit nuts. And you have a lot of fun with the linebacker. I really enjoy linebackers myself. But then also you bring a corner off the edge. Nobody expects a physical corner. There was actually a tackle kind of suplex that Josh Mitchell did. I believe it was against Wyoming in 2013. That's the kind of stuff you want to see. Not necessarily injury-causing per se, but you want to make sure that the angles are there, that you're not getting beat, that Corey Cooper was being beat in 2014 due to horrific angles. You want to make sure that is kept to an absolute minimum. Nobody's perfect. It's going to happen. But you have to make sure that there is a focus there. And I always go back. Number 1, fundamentals. This is where it's built on. You have to make sure that you see that. And have fun with it. Bring people all around. Crash on the inside. Loop from the crash on the inside. Loop to the outside. Just go nuts. Recruit proper players, and we'll get to that sometime in the future, but recruit the players that can not only execute the base, but that can go out and have fun. And you can just almost literally say, and sometimes literally say, just get to the quarterback. I don't care how. It's 3rd and 15. Get the quarterback. I don't care how. So, number 3, Triple F, focus, fierceness, and fun. If Bo Pelini's interactions with anybody have taught us anything, and they have, it's that punters are people too. And he's talked to Mike Sadler, who, well, was a punter for the Michigan State Spartans. And Mike's an awesome guy. He actually goes around wearing shirts that punters are people too. And punters are people too. Matter of fact, punters will win and lose you ball games, win and lose you championships, which is what we're talking about after all. Punters are a lot like offensive linemen. Actually, they get it worse than offensive linemen. Every single shank, you'll hear about it. But every single huge punt, 62-yard punt, and every single coffin kick, you'll hear about it. Offensive linemen, you hear about it once the running back gets on 100, 150, such and such yards, but every single time that punter is out there. If a punter can get you out of your own territory, that punter can get a 50-something yard kick, even you get the wind involved with a 60-something yard kick or some odd. That will win you championships. Absolutely crucial to have a punter that can do that. And it's become a joke. College kickers. Hashtag college kickers. If you're on Twitter, college kickers. Nebraska's been kind of spoiled, and Drew Brown didn't exactly have the best freshman year. However, he is still the blood of his brother Chris. So surely, with a full-time special teams coordinator, we talked about progress on the pocket, progress on special teams. Nebraska's able to have a lockdown kicker, much like Florida State has recently, 2014, 2013, etc. That's a given. You want to have those chip shot field goals. You want to go out there knowing that, well, not only is your kicker going to be accurate, you want to make sure the people in front are able to, give him space too. But obviously that he's taken care of, and punters are people too. Punters will save your butt. You want to talk about luck? Punters will make it. So you want to win a championship. Number 5. Demand excellence. I know what you think. Oh, have a goal, win a division, a conference championship, get to the playoffs. Yeah, that's great. I mean, that goes without saying. But when I say demand excellence, I'm saying when you step onto the field, you demand that for 60 minutes, you see 100% of everything that your team has been taught, that they are able to come back, regroup if necessary, and will not stop. There's a saying that I actually recently picked up, and I think it's great. In Mike Riley, and I'm going to have to ask him this sometime because I'm curious if he is a type of person like this. Want a group of coaches. If you want to win championships, you need a group of coaches, you need a group of players that doesn't necessarily love to win, but hates to lose. Just absolutely abhors losing. That a group that can go out there says, you know what, yeah, 7-point lead, not enough. 14-point lead, not enough. They want to be so far away from losing that even if they're up by 55, even if it's an Idaho State from not back that long where you were just killing for a running clock. And trust me, if you want to see this game, or at least part of it, go back and look. You'll want a running clock after about 3 minutes into it. It's just a situation where there is no lead too big, and if you find yourself down 21 in the fourth quarter, you keep going. And if you're going to lose, if you know you're going to lose, if you're down 35, then lose by 32 or 28. Just so long as you can lead the field saying, you know what, we lost. No, can't do anything about it now, but at least we can say we worked our butts off and that we demanded excellence of ourselves. That is the identity of Nebraska. That is the identity of Mike Riley. Demand excellence in yourself, demand excellence in your team, and then that division will be won, and then conference championships will be won, and then you will get into the Final Four, and then you will get into the national championship, and then you will win the national championship. Everything I just pointed out. Fundamentals, absolutely. Progression from the pocket in. Triple F with the defense. Focus, fierceness, fun. Punters are people too. And demand excellence. If Mike Riley can put those 5 things together, assuming a couple of other things, but again, we'll get to that in a bit down the line, then that is the fastest way he can and will win national championships for the University of Nebraska. About as basic as I can make it, the fastest way for Mike Riley to win national championships at Nebraska. Now, if you think I left something out, if there's something I missed, please let me know in the comment section below. And in the meantime, be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the 8 Laces Facebook page, like the Google Plus page. Follow me on Twitter at 8 Laces. Love hearing from you folks. I'm hearing more and more from you all the time. Love it, love it, love it. Be sure to check out the other eventual how-tos, and trust me, there are more coming down the pike. Love to hear from you folks. This has been a great experience coming on, and we will continue the never-ending experience. So, for now, take care, stay safe,